guys, this is Kayla.
And this is Becky, and we're with a couple of Bees Read.
Yes, and we have been on tour.
Yes.
If you've missed any of those Instagram posts and everything else. And the people we have to thank for being on tour, the successful tour we've had, are the independent bookstores. And that is what today's post is about. It's about supporting your local indie bookstore.
And as you can tell, we did a good job at that. Of course, at your first book signing, the book launch at Ernest and Hadley, I had, even though I had a copy, I still ordered a copy from them because I wanted a copy that night. So this is kind of going to be my travel book for me. And we just got back from New Orleans and we went on ghost tours. And I took all my stickers off the ghost tours and put them in the book. So this is kind of my memory Chase Harlan book now.
Yeah.
So that came from Ernest and Hadley.
I did not get a copy of Chase Harlan from Ernest. Sorry, Avery.
But then on Wednesday night we were at the Crossings, and that was a private event, and still sold like 25 books that night.
Yes.
It was really good, and everybody was so sweet. We had such a good time. And then we went to Huntsville the next day.
Yes.
And went to this cute little store. They've had an online presence for a while, and this past year they opened up a brick and mortar store, Snell on the Wall, and they're real big fans of Heather Weber, who we're real big fans of. And anyway, we went, and they had all these great books. Some I had not heard of or seen, and this is one of them. And I loved the cover. I mean, that's just not summary and everything. It says June in the Garden, and I've already, as you can see, I've already started reading it. This particular book gives me the vibes of The Maid, by Nita Prose. Yeah, because the girl has. You can tell she is autistic. And this is by Eleanor Wilde, and I've just gotten a few chapters into it, but I am really liking June. And she's gonna be one of those characters that, she struggles, but she finds a way to work in a world that doesn't understand her, and she doesn't understand. She finds a way to make her life work. So I'm really excited about this book. And I got this at Snell on the Wall in Huntsville. So if you've not been to that store, you need to go.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful store. And I will also say this, I did not get a book there, but it's because that event was so packed out and I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
Tuscaloosa, we expected, we had
over
60.
80. No, we had over 80 people there.
Don't tell me that. I talked to that. I can't. Nope. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking to 80 people real casually. But we expected a big turnout there because we knew people.
Cool. Yeah.
In Huntsville, I didn't know anyone. So having the numbers we had there, which probably 20, 30 people.
There was around 29 or 30 people there, so which I thought was really great.
And that event moved so fast. The women there really know what they're doing. Like, I mean,
it was a
boom,
great
boom, boom.
store. Yeah,
it was such a great event.
And then Debbie was your interviewer.
Yes, my grandmother-in-law, kind of. My brother's grandmother-in-law.
Yeah. Debbie was great. Debbie and Mike, they were so hospitable. They put us up there while we traveled in the different directions in their beautiful house, and they were just such precious people. So,
oh my gosh, that was such a
we
great
have met
trip.
Just so many wonderful people on this tour. So we left there that night, and then the next night we went to
Court Street
in Florence, Alabama. And there I bought 3 books. And
y'all know what I got. Y'all already know.
Yeah, I got that one for her there. And then I love Emily Henry. Of course, she got the Riley Sager with a Vengeance. And I got Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I'm really excited about reading this. And then, of course, one of my favorite all times, Christy Woodson Harvey, Beach House Rules. And since I'm going to the beach next week, I know I'm going to have plenty to read and share with my buddies there. So that was on Friday. We went there. And I will say, by the way, as well, we ate at some very interesting, wonderful restaurants. The one in Huntsville was something in the Parliament.
Yeah,
that was so interesting.
Huntsville, you could live there and still not eat at all the wonderful places they have. Like I can't, but I know it's something, the Parliament, and I had this great pork chop that was just phenomenal there. It was great. And then the next night we went and we ate at Rigatoni's. I think so.
It's what it was. I'm
in
always
Florence, Alabama.
In Florence, and I'm always up for Italian, and I am like a lasagna connoisseur.
Yes.
Everywhere I go to an Italian restaurant, if I've never been, that's what I order, and it was spectacular. Loved it. So anyway, we picked up 3 books there,
and then Brown's Books and More. This is an interesting story. First of all, they have an adorable new store, and I can't wait to visit. They're in Decatur. That was our Saturday bookstore. And they didn't know up until like that week that I was coming that they actually had to move.
Yeah.
So we get there early because we go everywhere early. And there were no books in the store.
And we were freaking out a little bit.
When the owner comes, she's super nice and super kind. And she said, I know it's hectic, but here's what's happened. And we still had a good turnout. We almost sold every book we had there.
Yeah, we did.
But I say all this to say they only had 2 books
in the store
to get, and I don't know where mine went.
And I bought this one.
And I bought one.
You bought the Medici?
I bought Murder on Sand Mountain.
Yeah, that was
and I left it at my house, but I bought it.
Yeah. And then I bought the Medici Curse, and I've been reading it, and I'm almost done with this one, and it is fantastic. As a matter of fact, Daco.
I don't know.
Off in North, I can't. I'm sorry, dear. I can't pronounce your name, but she was at Snail on the Wall last night. I wish we could have.
She's an Alabama author as well.
As well, yeah.
So,
and this
support your Alabama authors.
Yes, this was an extraordinary book. I can't wait to see the end of it. So it has really kept me going. I was reading it in New Orleans, and then I've just been so busy, since we got back, I hadn't had a chance to finish. So I'm hoping to get that finished soon. And then that was on Saturday morning, and we came back, and then Sunday morning we were on Snail on the Wall, not Snail on the Wall. I'm sorry, Thank You Books in Birmingham. Yes.
And the amazing Marley Bush was there as my conversation partner, and her book is amazing. If I haven't recommended it yet, Whispers of Dead Girls by Marley Bush, you should read it. But I already had a copy of that, so I didn't buy one of Marley's books. And we actually sold out of all my books.
Yes, we even had to go into the stash we had in our car to sell a couple, because there were people there that wanted them, and the store ran out.
They apparently have restocked, though.
Okay.
So at some point I got to hit up Birmingham and sign some books.
Yes.
But so that's another big thing. These indie stores I go to, they all have signed copies of my book.
Yes.
And if they run out of those signed copies, they email me and I show back up and sign more copies.
That's right.
That's the great thing about indie bookstores. So while we were at Thank You Books, I got Zelda, which is biography, about Zelda Fitzgerald, who, if you don't know anything about F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife, it's a really sad story. She had some mental health issues, but mostly she had a husband that stole all of her ideas, which is problematic. So I'm really excited to read that. Then for the kiddos, I got How to Spot a Fairy and I Am Elmo.
Yes.
And then you got a few.
And then, I got this one, Notes from an Island, and you might go, well, that's a strange little book. It just caught my eye. It's by Tove Jansson, and I have kind of this little quirky thing. I like quirky little books, and I bought one called By the Sea, which was a few years ago, that people would think, that doesn't seem like a book you'd read, but I read it and I loved it, and it was that particular book was about a woman and her husband kind of getting a divorce, separated, and she decided to move to the sea. And this to me had those kind of vibes to it. Notes from an Island is based on Tove's writings, like her letters and things like that. And it's all about the life she shares with, I guess, her partner on the island. And it's all about island life and things. And it just sounded interesting to me. Mm-hmm. And so I decided to pick it up and give it a whirl and see what I like there. And then
finally, we went to New Orleans, and we went to the Garden District Bookstore, and it's a beautiful store. I love it. I appreciate those who came. It was our smallest numbers. Like, we completely sold out of books at some of these. Was not the case in Garden Books, but when I talked to the owners, they said, you know what, New Orleans, June is not our time. June is not the tourist time. Everybody's left town because it's hot. So for what it was, we had a good turnout, I thought. Well, we had fun. And yes. They were super sweet. It is a great venue. They're the only bookstore I know of that have a bar in the bookstore. Yeah. And they were doing wine spritzers, and it was magical. And when I went to pay, they were like, oh no, you're signing, you don't have a bar tab. And I'm like, you should have told me this when I came in, because I would have had so much more. But it was really nice. And like I said, a cute little store. I think his name is Zach there. He and I talked quilts. He showed me some pictures of quilts he had purchased at some estate sales and an antique store, and they were beautiful. And so, we had the quilt with us and everything. And I will say this, the quilt has really gotten a lot of attention throughout the book tours. Everybody's wanted to talk about it. But while there, we also bought books, of course. This was one, I think we had predicted this for Book of the Month or something like that, and talked about wanting it, and it's a signed copy. The Listener by Maggie Stevata. And then, of course, again, one of my most favorite people, my most favorite authors, Patty Callahan Henry. We have booked 2 events for this book. With Patty Callahan Henry. And both of them got moved. And yes, I don't think she wants to hang out with us. And then the dates they got moved to, one of them we were at one of your book signings. We were in New Orleans. We couldn't come. And the other one we had another commitment that day as well. So I thought, surely we can show up at something of Patty's, and but she's going to be at Thank You Books, and because that was one of them we had booked was Thank You Books, and we'll be at the beach. And we'll be at the beach. So anyway, it just wasn't meant to be. But you know what? I bought her book anyway, and and these 2 came from the Garden Bookstore. And speaking of favorite authors, T. Kingfisher had a little section there at the Garden Bookstore, and I have recently reviewed several of her books, including Nettle and Bone, and this is sort of in that same vein. It is a fantasy called Sword Heart. Love is a double-edged sword. It just sounded so interesting, and honestly, this woman could write instructions that, go on how to eat cereal on the back of a cereal box. I don't know. And I would read it because it would be well written. So I'm really excited about this one. I'm going to get to it at some point. I can't wait to read it, though. Yeah. So when we say that you need to support your local indie bookstores, we definitely put our money where our mouth is, and we hope that you will go out, because there's nothing better than walking in a bookstore and being able to pick up a hardcover or a paperback and hold that tangible book in your hands. And we just love them. And I think the one thing about them that is so great is they have such a sense of community, and they're always supporting the community, and they're some of the best supporters of authors,
especially debut authors, and they're all there promoting your book and promoting you, and we want to promote them, and we hope that if you have a indie bookstore in your area, that you frequent them often. And I know you can get the book on Amazon a little cheaper, but then it just comes to your house in a plastic bag, and there you are. But you don't get to go into the store and
have the whole experience.
Yeah, that whole experience. Smell the coffee brewing, see the other readers, meet people that I know. I've just been standing around looking at books, and somebody takes a book off a shelf, and I might be trying to decide what I want to read, and I go, "Oh, do you read that author? Yes, I love this." And then you get to talking about things, and they're all about having their own book clubs, and they have children's hour, and they have so much to offer. So do support your local indie bookstores. It's definitely a place to go and find, especially if you love books.
Yep. So guys, until next time, support your local indies, and let us know what you're reading and what you're drinking. Bye guys.